I'm Grady Collane of the CapeCod.com News Center, joined today by two special guests with the Habitat for Humanity Blitz Build event. They're going to tell us a little bit more about what that is and some of the involvement related to the Cape's ongoing affordable housing crisis. But before we begin, do you mind just introducing yourselves for our listeners, starting with you, Peter?
Peter Kimball. I'm the chairman of the board for Habitat for Humanity.
All right, awesome. And Andrew, yourself as well?
I'm Andrew Philbrook of Philbrook Construction, located in Yarmouth, Dennis area.
All right, awesome. So I just wanted to get an overview for people who aren't familiar, haven't heard of the Blitz Build before. Do you mind just giving us a quick overview, Peter, of what this event is? It's coming up on September 23rd, if my notes are correct, in Dennis. What is this event? How does it help out your guys' mission? Can you just give us an overview?
Yeah, you bet. So it's a partnership between Habitat for Humanity of Cape Cod and the Home Builders and Remodelers Association of Cape Cod. We're riffing off a national Blitz program that our affiliated national organizations sort of partner for this throughout the U.S. On an annual basis. So the Cape is a little bit smaller. We're a tighter community. So the Home Builders Association uses the depth of its membership to actually make all this happen. And it's a fun week. So quick rundown. We start Monday morning, bright and early, building a house, and Monday sort of framing electrical, plumbing, heating day. Tuesday is insulation, plastering outside stuff, shingles, roofing, all that outside stuff. Wednesday we're finishing the inside of the house. Thursday we're painting the house and doing landscaping, and Friday morning we're pretty much done. We get all our inspections from the town, and we're handing the keys off to the family on Friday. So it's a hectic, busy, exciting week for sure.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. It's really impressive, like how fast you can really complete a house if you were to really put your mind to it. I mean, before the plaster even seems to be dried, I'm surprised it can even be possible. But it's very impressive, and I'm sure, you guys have done many events like this, of course, in the past already. So you're old hands at this point. This
will be our sixth Blitz Build, actually. The first one was 2011. We get a little better at it every year.
How long before it's only a 4-day build, do you think? You think that's even...
Yeah, I don't see that. So we literally have hundreds of people on site every day. It's organized chaos for the most part.
It's an amazing site. It's like bees in action, essentially. Around
exactly, yeah. There's some time-lapse videos of quite a few of them, and, in a 3-minute video, there's never a point where there's not somebody scurrying around, so...
Yeah, it's awesome. So as well, Andrew, do you mind just telling us so I think you mentioned before we got rolling that this is your first Blitz Build. Do you mind telling us how you got involved, a little bit more of the hands-on, what you're hoping for, what kind of drew you into this to begin with?
So Peter approached me last year, probably about the same time last year, and just said they had this thing coming up, and would I be interested in taking over the project management of it? I think his intent, too, is to kind of find somebody within the area, I was saying Yarmouth, Dennis area, that has some good knowledge with the local town inspectors and does work within the town to kind of potentially help that process along. So I was excited. I knew of it to a degree, like obviously you've done past years. And so within the Home Builders Remodelers Association, there are past project managers, people that I know professionally from other companies. So it was kind of like I knew about it. And it's a great opportunity to give back. A lot of times you might get solicited throughout the year just for like charities and things like this. But this is like a real hands-on give back. It's going to be exciting. Like you said, I've never done it. I mean, we've built houses, but not within 5 days. So it's going to be challenging, exciting. But I think in the end, what's exciting is, and I haven't experienced this, but giving it to the family on Friday, and they have a house to live in that they can move in immediately type of thing. So
yeah,
it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be excellent.
Handing over the keys is certainly an exciting prospect. At the end of that, I'm assuming it's like, here you go.
Peter may know better, but I think we're probably all going to be at that point. Yeah, on Friday.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely a relief to know that we actually pulled it off, even though we've done it before. Every time is a challenge. So
That is wonderful. I mean, I really, it's like that whole getting the town ready to go with the permitting and inspections. That almost sounds like that'd be the hardest part to me. But what is that?
Right.
Is that where you're?
Sure. No, we really reach out to everybody in the community to do it. We're so grateful for all of the companies that are donating their time and their materials and efforts to support the Blitz Build. It seems a little bit gimmicky, in the activity, and for sure it is. It's designed that way to promote Habitat and the home builders, but also all of the donors as well. And the end result is that we do get to provide a new home for a family that's currently struggling with housing, as many are. So.
Yeah, so we are going to ask a little bit about how this is kind of like a signal flare, essentially, for the affordable housing crisis that's kind of gripping the region. We even have Nantucket considering banning short-term rentals effectively, but we're going to touch more on that. I want to ask a little bit about that kind of the crossover, because otherwise it sounds like maybe people who wouldn't work on the same project. I hesitate to say competitors, but it is kind of got a lot of cross-pollination going over. Is there anything that personally comes to mind?
Well, I was going to say, just even from a project manager standpoint, if you look at the list of contractors that are volunteering their time, some of them I've worked with, just as subcontractors, but there's also quite a few builders themselves that are donating crews, time, labor, materials, tools. And I would say probably thus far, what was most impressive, just seeing how much materials like donated. It's easy to see the people on the site that week, but just what goes into securing all the other materials and things like that. It's impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome to see that kind of that crossover as well. Is that kind of like a satisfying thing to see, is being able to bring in so many different branches, essentially?
Yeah, for sure. Within the Home Builders Association, it ties in with our core mission of, promoting housing and promoting community, and the association members, for the most part, are they're all great companies. They're fantastic people to compete against. They're all super talented, but not just with the Blitz, but even within the association, there's a lot of camaraderie and respect, and many of us have friends and relations and whatever that are crossing over across all these companies. It's the Cape is a big place geographically, but it's quite small people wise.
And I was just going to say, to tie into that too, you had mentioned in the beginning, and we could probably do a whole other half-hour segment on that, is just like the employer workforce, especially families. And I witnessed this too, just because I have younger kids in school and stuff, but you're bringing a family to the town, hopefully maybe more families, because it is a development of 4 eventually of that area, but also just employee workforce, being able to have like places for younger families to live, grow, that type of thing. So.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, Peter. As well, you've been involved in this for a while, and so we know that the family is actually someone who they're involved in the trades. So it's like this is another example of a family that has been struggling with affordable housing and they like make the town work. Like it's municipal workers, firefighters, police, trades, teachers that are like having issues with the housing. So can you talk a little bit about the cultural, like having this? Yeah, it is like a beacon essentially to kind of show and raise awareness. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the other piece of the puzzle that it gives us, both Habitat and the home builders, an opportunity to sort of shine a spotlight on the need for affordable housing and some of the issues surrounding that. And it's acute. We're seeing that across all aspects of employment, really. The employers on the Cape in general are struggling with meeting their production needs or their service needs or whatever it is, because we don't have the people here to live here and actually participate in the workforce and be part of the community. And historically, the habitat families, not just for the Blitz Build, they get an opportunity to stay here, live here, and they do really thrive and become a strong part of the network on the Cape and the community of the Cape. So it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I so do you think that it builds a stronger relationship if it's like the people build a house and stuff like that, and it's like, hey, here's all the people who literally built your house and they want you to live here. Do you think that kind of like builds a more neighborly quality to the Cape you'd like to see more of?
For sure. Yeah. And that's sort of Habitat's model, right? All of for the most part, the Habitat homes, aside from the Blitz, are all built by a mix of volunteer labor and professionals where it's required for, plumbing and electrical and things like that. But
Of course.
The Habitat homes themselves are built, essentially by their neighbors. So that gives a lot of people a connection with Habitat and the homeowners themselves and those communities as they come together. So
and to kind of dovetail on that too, to my understanding, the person that's selected, the family that's selected, they're going to get this house obviously as part of this type of promotion, but then they're going to also have time to help build the other houses literally in their neighborhood. Like they're going to be able to work on those other houses. So it's good for neighborly relations too, especially like building like a little community back there.
Yeah. The Habitat model is that, the person who gets the home, they are purchasing the home. They have a mortgage. Part of their qualifications in getting that is that, they have to put sweat equity in ahead of time so that, they're either doing that through work at the Restore or working on other Habitat build projects to get that time in before they purchase the house. So,
Yeah, a lot of putting money where the mouth is, essentially from the Habitat higher ups as well. You guys are actually involved in the project, and also the sweat equity definitely kind of shows that helping us help each other sort of situation. All right, well, thank you both for joining me for this conversation. It has been a pleasure to talk with both of you today from Habitat, talking about this upcoming Blitz Build. We're about coming up on time, but is there anything else you wanted to highlight for our listeners while I still have you? Starting with you, Pete, maybe excitement, where people can learn more in general.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for having us in today. Always good to talk about the Blitz and promote it. The build will be the week of September 23rd. It's at Jack Delaney Lane in Dennis, behind the Senior Center. Happy to have people come by and visit and see what's going on. There's more information available through links on Habitat for Humanity of Cape Cod's website, as well as Home Builders and Remodelers of Cape Cod website, videos of past builds, etc. So check it out, and love to see you out there.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you for the time, and really thank you to everybody that's involved. I think, from a high standpoint, you obviously have Habitat for Humanity, and we have the Home Remodelers Builders Association, but there's a lot more down-trace people involved in that. Obviously, we try to involve most of the members from Home Remodelers, but there's also a lot of just material vendors, people that will be on site that aren't associated necessarily with HVAC, but have been doing this for years. So just want to say thank you to all of them. There's a lot that goes behind it. I might be the face. We'll see what I look like at the end of the week. But besides that, there's a lot more that goes behind the scenes. So.
Yeah, definitely. A huge thank you to the HVAC membership for all that they do for this. So.
And it takes a village, as we all know. So thank you very much again for joining me for this conversation. It has been a pleasure. And thank you for listening to Sunday Journal.